Jay-Z, you're just like Diddy. I can't stand your arrogant, condescending attitude. Nicki posted a video of you wearing a pink wig, and I retweeted it. Nothing more. You deserved it. Everyone knows about our feud. It's been going on for over 20 years. I've seen all your manipulation in the industry, from power struggles to cultural control. In 2015, when Tidal launched, Nicki helped you build it from nobody to a successful platform, and you immediately pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. Lil Wayne was qualified for the Super Bowl, but you kicked him out of personal grudges. How is that any different from Diddy forcing his artists to sign unfair contracts? Just because Nicki didn't align with him, he resorts to this kind of suppression. You're truly despicable. What's even more interesting is that right after I showed him and his father's photo in the documentary Sean Combs' The Reckoning, you immediately had your lawyer send me a warning letter saying I overstepped my bounds. When you wrote the lyrics to exonerate Diddy back then, why didn't you think about today? You say the film is malicious slander, but why don't you dare sue me for defamation? Because all the evidence I have is true. I haven't finished reporting the witnesses in my documentary, and I haven't released all the Tidal profit sharing documents. If you know what's good for you, pay back what you owe Nicki with interest. Don't wait until I make Jay-Z Reckoning 2, by which time even Beyonce's PR team won't be able to save you.
Jay goes, let's get it straight. Nobody's afraid of 50 Cent. Let's be clear.
Like that.
His safe presentation, he's not identifying with the transition and difference and the perception of Jay-Z. Now he's really safe. And people feel comfortable with him because they know he's not going to do anything inappropriate or try not to is inappropriate. Meanwhile,
speaking of, in particular, Netflix docuseries that you've been working on, Diddy Do It.
Right.
For years, names like Diddy and Jay-Z were discussed with a kind of untouchable protection, not just because of fame, but because of power, image, and influence. But now, that wall looks weaker than ever. What makes this different is not just the accusations, not just the rumors, and not even the internet reaction. It's the fact that more and more voices, from insiders, former associates, and longtime critics, are starting to overlap in disturbing ways. And at the center of it all is 50 Cent, a man who has never been known for silence, and who now seems more interested than ever in pulling old narratives back into the light. Because once you stop looking at celebrity as glamour and start looking at it as strategy, a very different picture begins to emerge.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. Mm-hmm. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
This guy. Oh, wow. You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
he had one.
Exactly.
He had
And
one.
he ain't show up.
He has like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he's been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
Hold on. You're not wrong.
He was
At
one.
the same time.
After that, he got them shits. He's like drinking. His pictures with him like fucking things the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because he's no
marriage.
longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got it for the music. Jay got it for the music.
No, you didn't see.
He deserved those.
I'm sitting there, it's like this, like Black excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's the billionaire brunch. You're like,
I hate you, man.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you niggas this year.
Yeah,
Come on, bro.
I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. He's just looking at his watch during the whole Rock Nation prayer. Like, is it 3:30?
Yeah, it's almost time to get out.
What the fuck is that?
Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Oh, wow. So that's the deal he signed, huh?
Yeah, that's the deal. Like other ones.
50 Cent's point isn't just about marriage or awards, it's about something deeper. How public image can completely reshape public judgment. Jay-Z didn't just evolve musically, his image was rebranded. From a street rapper to a corporate icon. From controversial to untouchable. And once that shift happens, people stop asking questions. That's where this gets dangerous. If reputation can be redesigned, then legacy can be controlled. And when that happens, silence itself becomes power. So the real question isn't who succeeded, it's how that success was protected, packaged, and sold to the public.
I advise Beyonce to divorce Jay-Z as soon as possible because I'm ready to shoot a documentary about Jay-Z, and I guarantee it will outgross Diddy's documentary. If Beyonce sends me a legal letter on behalf of Jay-Z, I remind her to stay quiet. This is a dispute between men, and she has no right to interfere. I have to let everyone see the true face of Jay-Z. Jay-Z and Diddy have been longtime friends, and their business dealings never stopped. He frequently attends Diddy's parties, so why do people think he's innocent? Jay-Z and Diddy got involved in the same case in 2024, where a victim claimed she was assaulted by both Jay-Z and Diddy. I remember Jay-Z saying these were all rumors and that he was defending Diddy. But ironically, Diddy got arrested in 2025. And there's enough evidence to count his crimes on one hand. I've known them for 20 years, and I know how many bad things they've done behind the scenes. After Jay-Z founded his company, he repeatedly got into copyright disputes. In 1999, he was convicted of third-degree assault and served time in prison. He was unfaithful to Beyonce, and he was caught by Beyonce's sister. I think everyone has seen the footage of him getting beaten up in the elevator. I've already gathered the evidence, and I'm going to give Jay-Z a surprise.
And this is where the conversation starts shifting from branding to proximity, because in the court of public opinion, people don't just judge what was said. They judge who stood next to whom, who stayed quiet, who defended who, and who benefited while the audience was distracted. For years, celebrity circles have survived on a simple rule: stay close enough to power to gain from it, but distant enough to deny responsibility when the fallout comes. Now that old alliances are being re-examined, even presence itself starts to look suspicious. And when people begin asking who knew what, sometimes the silence around the answer becomes louder than the answer itself.
Oh, yeah, before I forget this, we talked about Jay. Proximity to Diddy. You don't think he knew anything? He's seemingly around Diddy a lot.
No, that was a real suburb question.
Yeah, I know, right? Proximity.
Hold on. Proximity.
Proximity. That's the SAT hit parade word. I had to learn that.
Do you think he fucking knew all of the shit that was going on? Yeah, that was like a...
I don't want to incriminate myself.
I know, but the way he said it,
like I said,
no matter how you answer that shit, you snitching.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a narc kind of question. Yeah.
You asked the question like a fan.
Hey, I grew up with white people, but one thing I know is how to get a black guy in trouble.
But it's a great question.
Yo, just give him the Happy Meal before you ask him to snitch, bro.
He said, damn, they wasn't even drinking.
Speaking of, how the hell you pronounce Lechem?
Lechemindewa.
Okay.
It's the King's Path.
King's Path.
Oh.
Because I know Branson.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
the one I pronounce.
Branson. That's the Branson lifestyle. You gonna be outside.
Biff, you're not worried that if you throw little out.
What makes moments like this so effective is that they don't rely on direct accusation alone. They rely on implication, discomfort, and the kind of humor that lets serious ideas slip past the audience's guard. And that's exactly how modern media works. A joke becomes a headline becomes a theory becomes a public memory. By the time anyone tries to separate fact from performance, the narrative has already taken hold. And once that happens, denial starts sounding less like clarity and more like damage control.
This is the opposite of normal shit that we're talking about, bro.
That is why. I don't know why it's so hard for people
So
to just
for people to
acknowledge
feel
weird
like
shit is
you
weird.
would have something or you would have reserved energy because you feel like you was doing it too, this is people that are looking on the separation between their hardships or their the things that they got going on that would be issues and what a celebrity's issues would be.
Wait, what does that mean?
They think all celebrities are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, and when you see, if I wasn't saying anything, guess what? You could safely say that a person on the outskirts that is not involved in hip hop culture could think that everybody in hip hop culture is with that shit.
So by you, you're good, bro.
That's great.
You're fucking good.
Yeah.
He's protecting hip hop.
Yeah.
If you don't speak out and make them the weirdos, then they're gonna think everybody's
Every
like
single
that.
person is like that involved in hip hop culture.
Makes you think, did Jay do it?
Shut up. He's in trouble. We live in New York, bro. No. We live here. No. Free Jay-Z.
I'm just saying.
Shout out Mufasa. We all gonna go and support. Yo, we can all see. You are crazy. That was the craziest thing. I literally.
What's
bro,
the lady at Rock Nation? I gotta send her that.
You don't feel like that happened the same day, bro. What's the name came out the day before? The next day he was in
I
Mustafa.
was eating Raisin Bran. Okay, I'm eating Raisin Bran. I got my daughter in my arm. I'm scrolling, right? I see somebody screenshot your shit is Jay and the whole family at the Mufasa Fair, and then the comment is 50 said, Jay said, they said I a 13-year-old. Let's go watch Mufasa.
Everybody get dressed. We're going to see Mufasa right now. I just think it was a good look, like angling yourself as
a family man.
Yes.
But they had to go to the premiere,
that
bro.
was planned already. I'm
They had to go to the premiere.
And I realized that later, but I'm just saying, too, I haven't seen him in a long time. That's all I'm saying. When I hadn't seen him in a long time, and then I heard this shit, and then I looked and I saw Mufasa, I said, whoa. That's all that fucking happened, bro. You think this is at my phone? This is my phone. This is happening at real time. I'm going, yo. He said, yo.
You just gotta say everyone gets these jokes, bro. That's what you gotta say.
Yeah, no,
rappers, listen, comedians are the new rappers, bro. That's
why
the
do
thing.
people come to my page, bro?
That's true.
I know what I'm saying.
You know this.
Now the documentary stops being only about jokes, online shots, or image management, and starts moving towards testimony. Because once former insiders begin describing patterns instead of isolated moments, the story changes. It becomes less about one incident and more about a culture. A culture where egos were protected, alliances were calculated, and some people were allowed to operate above criticism for years. Gene Deal represents a different kind of voice in this conversation. Not polished, not corporate, not media trained. But that's exactly why clips like these travel so fast. Because they feel raw, personal, and unfiltered. And when raw stories start matching larger public suspicions, even old memories can suddenly become relevant again.
Ashley Kushner, Puff and them, we was all at the next game together, and he didn't even remember none of it. And I don't expect him to remember, but I remembered. You understand? And he told Puff, he said, yo, Puff, yo, I heard about that Gene right there. That Gene got a mean left. Oh, he said, that Gene a knock a out. Then he gonna come up to me and say, man, you look like, man, you a tear ass up. And I said to himself, I said, yo, no Diddy. Pause, whatever. I said, he don't even remember. I was about to knock him the F out. He didn't even remember. He said to me, to Laura. That's how these guys are, man. They'll cause situations and cause problems, and then they'll forget what they done because they on a whole nother atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit that he did, you gotta understand, you know, like now he'll say that they're kids because he's raising kids of his own. You understand? But how would you like it that if Blue Ivory, 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old, dating a nigga in his early 30s. You're not gonna go for that. No matter what she came through in Hollywood. But you gotta understand, guys who was around there, we didn't know Jay-Z them ages. We didn't know these cats' age. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't having no beards and nothing like that. They was wearing low cuts. You understand? Clean face. I would have never believed when Jay was coming around the block, scooping up the young girls and stuff like that he was 30 years old. You know, if they 17, 18, 16 years old, and they 22, you thinking they 22, 23, something like that, 24 years old? They mom and them need to check them. They daddy and them need to check them. But that's not that far off. But for somebody to be 30 years old in their 30s, and they dealing with kids 16 years old, 17, 18 years, now that's a problem, that's an issue. And now he see that because he's raising kids. And he got a young daughter.
If 50 Cent brings mockery, and Gene Deal brings memory, then Jaguar Wright brings escalation. Because she's not talking like someone giving an interview. She's talking like someone issuing a warning. That's why her words hit differently. Not because everyone believes them, but because of how intense they feel. Jaguar doesn't sound like she's protecting relationships. She sounds like she thinks the mask is already slipping. And in her version of events, this isn't something new. It's something that was hidden for too long. So when she asks, Who's next? It doesn't feel like gossip anymore. It feels like a chain reaction, one that might just be getting started.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
And then got ran into and then I got thrown in a hospital by my insane husband who's working for YouTube to make his mama pray.
So wait, Jag, I'm just curious because with Diddy...
You mean?
With Diddy settling within 24 hours, which has never been heard of, 30 million, or the lawsuit was 30, undisclosed amount. But
He knew for 30 days that shit was fitting to happen.
Within 24
He could have
hours.
paid that 30 million before.
Yeah, why? Let that hit the fan. Did he?
Because he's Diddy.
He called a bluff?
Because yeah.
He should have enough money to
He
check.
put the boots to that girl. She's supposed to be a good bitch. No matter who she with. All the time he putting a groom in her. Of course he thought it was still gonna work. He thinks he's God. That ain't doing shit. I raped the fuck out of that bitch, put the boots to her last time I seen her. Her and her trainer, boyfriend, husband. I don't get no.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's gonna feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing. I think he's gonna say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time. Because you'll see people saying that. I mean, he may feel a different way about pieces and bits of it, but he knows the truth.
At this point, the story is no longer moving in a straight line. It's widening. What began as commentary about Diddy now starts touching Jay-Z, industry protection, public relations, and the long-standing belief that certain names were simply too powerful to be questioned in real time. And that is what keeps audiences watching. Not because every claim is proven on the spot, but because the pattern being painted feels bigger than any one clip, bigger than any one lawsuit, bigger than any one interview. The suggestion here is chilling, that what the public called prestige may, in some cases, have also functioned as cover.
LA is a graveyard. It's just some of the ghosts are still walking around.
Well, Jag, we're so glad it's your birthday. We want you to feel better for the rest of the day. We ain't gonna take no more.
This time last year, I was in Loose Sterrett, not that far from where y'all at right now. The girls made me a spread. They made me an Oreo cookie, fake, you know, the cake with the commissary. They pulled out the summer sausage.
Yo, Jag
they put it on for me.
Yeah. Jag is baking on something good. Whatever she baking on is mighty sticky.
Shout out to all my girls on the 7th floor, North Tower. Who knows where you might be celebrating your birthday next year. Just keep the faith. I woke up on a concrete slab on a yoga mat last year for my birthday, and this year I woke up in a suite. And I can see the ocean right there on the rip. You ain't gotta understand me, but please believe me. I don't lie. A month ago, I sat here on this very channel and I told y'all, put the boots to that girl.
You sure did.
Why
say
don't
that.
y'all believe me? I don't know why they don't believe.
What's next, Jack? What's next?
A martini in a black dress.
I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected.
And then comes another layer, one that often gets overlooked when powerful figures are discussed. The stories people tell about them before they became untouchable. Because sometimes the clearest clues about a public figure aren't found at the height of their power, but in the way people remember them from before the power was fully established. Before the billion-dollar image. Before the elite respectability. Before the carefully controlled legacy. Stories from that era may sound small on the surface. Ego, disrespect, insecurity, humiliation, tension. But in retrospect, they often get reinterpreted as early signs of a deeper pattern, not proof on their own, but pieces. And in documentaries like this, pieces are everything.
Know him, been around him a couple of times, bro. Been around him a few times, but I didn't know him. You know him as I'm sitting down and I'm breaking bread, eating off, eating a meal around him and shit like that, laughing, talking, and joking like that. I've been around Jay-Z, and one time I wanted to knock his head off, because he was being disrespectful, but he didn't know he was being disrespectful because he ain't that type of dude. You understand what I'm saying?
What happened?
We was in Cancun and he had a personal assistant from my block named Laura, and he had brought like 3 people to the club. He had brought like 6 people to the club with him, and he was only to get 3 people in. I was running the door at Daddy-O's from Industry Entertainment. They just told me Jay-Z only get 3 people in. You understand? So I'm at the door. I said, yo, Jay, you good? And 3 of your other good, but the other 3 got to pay. So then he said, Laura, handle him. And at that time, the type of dude I was, you couldn't tell no woman to handle me. You understand? When I'm talking to you as a man. So then I said, who you talking to like that? You telling her to handle me? You understand? And then me and him, he didn't say nothing. He just turned to the side. And if he'd have turned back around, he'd have got his head knocked off. But Laura told me, yo, Gene, please, Gene, you gonna make me lose my job. You know what I'm saying? And because, one, she was beautiful, 2, she from our block. You understand? I wasn't gonna do that to her. You understand? So I gathered myself, stepped away from the situation, and then the promoter said Jay can let his people come in. You know what I'm saying? But he was being disrespectful. This is the same dude that Harlem cats used to laugh at and joke at. Even we was out there that time, he came to Cancun and he had a fake Versace shirt on and they was ripping him. I mean, they was ripping him. I know he's a billionaire now, he can wear whatever he got. He got $10 million watches and shit like that. But we talking about back then. You understand? We still had those stories from back then. And it's good that a brother can uplift himself. And that's why he's the type of person that he is, because he knew how guys used to treat him. That's why you could see him trying to sun people based on somebody who gets in that type of situation. You understand? This dude had the same cream deli silk shirt that I had. Now, cream deli cream shirts were fake printed Versace shirts. They were nice. You pay $45 for them, but you can't wear that around Harlem cats. You understand what I'm saying? Not if you in the rap industry. At that time, they used to have diamond testers. You understand? They'll roll up on the cat, and if your diamond don't beat, you understand? They'll talk about you. Snatch your chain off or whatever like that. So he had the fake cream de la cream shirt on, and they was roasting him. I think I seen him in a black t-shirt from that point on in Cancun the whole time he was there. Yo, let me just tell you something. When dudes from Harlem got something on you, bro, and they joking you, they at it. They gonna stop and until somebody with some power or somebody with some money say, yo, give that dude a break. Give him a break. So Dame probably used to let him get him in a little bit, but then when Dame was like, yo, my man, let my man live. Let him live. They probably back up off of him or stuff like that. But they was joking, they was talking and stuff like that. And because you just don't do that. You don't come to no major event with nothing fake or phony on. Not at all. Unless the only way you could get away with something fake or phony on, if it was Dapper Dan. If it was a Dapper Dan special, you good. If it wasn't Dapper Dan, nah.
What starts as a story about embarrassment slowly turns into something much more serious because humiliation, insecurity, and reinvention are powerful forces in celebrity culture. People who feel laughed at often become obsessed with control, and once they finally gain influence, the temptation to manage how others are seen and how they themselves are remembered becomes even stronger. That's why the tone shifts so sharply here. The jokes fade out, and the conversation moves toward allegations that have followed Jay-Z for years in whispers, forums, aside conversations, and industry rumors. The documentary doesn't need to prove every whisper to make an impact. It only needs to make the audience ask why the same kinds of stories keep resurfacing around the same names.
If it wasn't Dapper Dan, nah. You couldn't do that, bro. Not at all. Should have known better, but he was from Brooklyn.
But from what you know about Jay, do you believe he's capable of doing what he's being accused of?
What I know of Jay and what have I heard of Jay, I want to say this to protect myself, that there's stories of Jay talking to underage girls. It was a girl from my block that was 16, 17 years old that Jay was talking to. If she was 17. So there's plenty of stories out there that they might flood the market of Jay talking to underage girls. I heard this kid that is claiming to be his son. His mother was 15 when she conceived him and had him at 16. And Jay refused to do a blood test or anything like that. And all of a sudden, when this has gotten real big and Tony Bugsby had taken the kid's case, the kid just got arrested for having a gun in his car, I think like that. Did you hear something about that? That the kid got arrested for having a gun in his car, and when they go and watch the tape, somebody was planting a gun in the kid's car. Now the kid who never been in trouble to that degree, and now he's facing a case for a gun case for having a loaded firearm in his car. So, answer your question. There's plenty of stories. Ain't Beyonce one of those stories? Isn't Foxy Brown one of those stories? Isn't that kid mother one of his stories? There's a lot of stories, bro. So.
And in the end, that may be the real reason this documentary angle is hitting so hard. It's not just exposing names people already know, it's challenging the public to reconsider what they thought they knew about power, protection, and the stories that were allowed to survive for years without serious scrutiny. 50 Cent has built an entire persona around saying what others avoid. Jaguar Wright has built hers around forcing uncomfortable conversations into the open. Gene Deal brings the voice of someone who claims to have seen the machinery from up close. And when those voices, however controversial, however chaotic, however disputed, begin circling around the same elite names, audiences don't just hear gossip. They hear a possibility that some of hip-hop's most carefully protected images may have depended on silence for much longer than anyone wants to admit. Now the pressure is no longer just on Diddy. It's on everyone whose name keeps appearing around the shadows of the same story. Because once the public starts asking whether the empire was built on talent alone, every old alliance begins to look different. And if this is only the beginning, then the next chapter may be even bigger than the last.